This interview is brought to you by NLPT. The NLPT Performance and Therapy team is made up of coaches and therapists who work collaboratively to increase your capacity and tolerance to strain so you can reach the next level of sport and life. Using a model of assessment, program design, and ongoing coaching, NLPT provides individualized approach to optimizing your training experience and get you the results you want, while preparing your body with the tools it needs to stay healthy. Check out their team and facilities at www.mynlpt.com. Next Level Performance Training, your home for performance and wellness in Cambridge, Ontario. Welcome back to another great episode. We got a pretty impressive guest today, Dueck. He's the quarterback from McMaster University.
Yeah, pretty cool. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
A basic question we've been asking a lot of our athletes lately, but how have you dealt with COVID as an athlete? I know, this is being a quarterback, you always have to have those, even any position in any sport too, you have to be working around the clock basically all the time, but COVID really put a wrench, especially in the beginning, on everyone's plans. But how have you been able to deal with that?
It's definitely tough. It's kind of a new world, so just trying to, figure things out and still be able to get work in. It's still, you still got to get throws in, of course. So small groups. I just got back from Winnipeg now, so I was throwing with some high school buddies in Winnipeg, but now being back, I'm trying to definitely started throwing more with the Mac guys, so that's really good now. But yeah, it's difficult, especially now. When we should be in season, it's definitely tough. But you still got to keep working and just use it as a long off season and be able to get better.
Yeah, exactly. So were you quarantining in Winnipeg then?
Yeah, so I went back and then spent 2 weeks at the cottage as a quarantine. So
not bad.
So you're back now for the school year?
Yeah.
So you're going in your your last year then, right? In commerce, I think that's what I read.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have with football, I've obviously taken a bit slow, so I'm gonna have another year next year or another semester next year. So now, without having a season this year, it's going to be kind of interesting to see, what's the plan after I graduate next year. I'm still going to have a year of eligibility. So, I'm definitely going to want to play as much football as I can. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But
so bad for the fourth years, right? Do you know any, are they coming back, or what's kind of going on with the people that are kind of done essentially?
Yeah, I'm still holding on hope for some of our guys, but it looks like we'll lose a couple of guys who, maybe just don't think it's quite worth it to come to, wait a whole another year before getting on with their lives. And that totally makes sense. It's a very big commitment to kind of hold off everything when you can move on and, start to be successful in other areas. And that's kind of what you have to do. I totally agree with that, but yeah, it's tough.
Well, I was just going to start getting going on the actual football topic. And so you're from Winnipeg, obviously. I don't know how into the city or whatever. And kind of just, just what's football like out there? I know we've had Jagera Davis, who grew up in Texas and played football there, and Chris Merchant from Calgary. And what was it like in Winnipeg?
There's some good players. It's when I was in high school, at least, it was there's two high school teams that were kind of the best and dominate everyone else, and then there's a couple good players on some other teams. But I played against Brady Oliveira, who's in the CFL now, and with Mason Bennett, who just got drafted to the Ticats in high school.
Yeah.
So there is definitely a lot of good talent out there. We had, I think, 8 guys in my graduating class at the high school I went to go play next level. Not all still playing, of course, but at that time. So it's pretty good football out there. There's some good training. Recruit Ready. It's a great training program there in Winnipeg, and the high school football is pretty good.
So is that where you started, or like me and Keith, we're kind of ex-football players, and we played he's played longer than me, but in Pee Wee you always get moved around in positions. Was it always like quarterback for you, or did you play?
No. I mean, I started playing football in I think grade 3 or grade 4. So it's I've definitely moved around a lot, played some basically everything growing up. I mean, I was kind of a bigger kid then, and so you kind of get placed all over the field. But for the most part, what I wanted to play when I was young was quarterback, and that's what I did play the majority of the time. But yeah.
Cool.
Did you ever you had a pretty successful year, like even going you were the quarterback for Team Winnipeg. You did really well in there. Did you ever have, like, going out of high school, did you ever want to play in the NCAA or have that in your head, or did you even did you have any offers?
No, I think that also comes, like, that's kind of something I think about now. It's something I may have kind of wish I tried a little harder to do, but I mean, for me though, like, I didn't even think about playing next level football until like grade 11. That's kind of when I started getting recruited, and that kind of opened me up to the whole thing. And at that point, it's already kind of late for getting recruited down south. And I also kind of wanted to stay in Canada. I mean, I like it here. I like it up here, so I wanted to play up here, and I know the kind of football that it is, and that.
And so why did you decide on Mac versus going out east or out west, or what made you come to the OUA?
Well, I mean, Mac is a great school. I really liked the coaches at the time. I liked the environment here at Mac. That was kind of a big thing for me. It was just like the culture that it brings. It's a winning culture. It's a good school. They won a lot. And it was pretty sweet environment. Meeting some of the guys on my trip, they were all like really cool. So, and I'm really glad. I mean, I think it all kind of translated and did show itself when I came here too, and it did equate. So that was I was pretty happy with that.
Awesome, yeah.
How did you deal from the transition from Winnipeg to Ontario and even like Hamilton?
Well, so I see Hamilton and Winnipeg as pretty similar cities. They're not, neither of them are like, the nicest of places, but I mean, it's great people. And it's a good, I don't know, it's a good place to be. And I mean, I like Mac a lot. It's a pretty, close knit campus too. So that always helps. And, having those friends on the football team right away, it definitely makes for a pretty smooth transition.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's kind of run us through like a day in a life as a student athlete, especially as a quarterback? Like, do you do like stuff on the side? Like, I'm sure you have to, obviously you watch so much tape through your workouts, the actual practices. So what's that kind of like?
Yeah, so like a day in the life during the season, off season, it's definitely a lot more relaxed. But during the season, I would say it's work out or twice a week with a rundown on Sundays. So it would be on a busy day, it'd be a workout in the morning, and then like a couple hours of class, and then get into film normally at like 1:30. And then it would basically be filmed for an hour with my QB coach beforehand, and then 3 o'clock we'd start team film, and then 6 would be practice, and then after practice we'd call it an evening. So that'd be kind of day in the life.
Full day, I'm sure.
Yeah. During the season, it's definitely pretty busy.
Yeah. A lot of people struggle with first year in general, regardless, and adjusting to university and how much work you have to do. And was that pretty hard for you? Like, in addition to playing football, you have to first year university coping with it?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's definitely tough, but it's not something that like I ever really thought was bad. I never really didn't enjoy. Like I enjoyed it, so I, even though it was hard and was busy, it's something that I enjoyed, and I'd been very busy in high school too, so I was kind of used to having a busy schedule and used to kind of pushing myself a little bit. So it wasn't it wasn't anything like mind blowing that I really had to change habits and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, would you be able to talk us through your first year and second year playing football, and we'll get to the Yates Cup that you just won too, which was an insane accomplishment.
hmm Yeah, for sure. So first year came in and we started competing right away. There's an open spot at quarterback with Asher Hastings just graduating, and yeah, it was me and another rookie, and then a third year. And so in that training camp, I came out and I won the job for the first game of the season. Didn't play very well that game at all. The speed of the game was definitely a lot faster than I think I kind of anticipated, and I don't know if I was really mentally ready for that. But then the second game, first half struggled again and got pulled, and the other guy started for the rest of the season, and it was a pretty successful season. I mean, what didn't really end the way we lost first round of the playoffs, so it didn't really end. Didn't really have that playoff run we were hoping for, but it was a very good season for me. I learned a ton. Was able to get still a decent amount of minutes for being a first year, and I was pretty happy with that. And then second year, kind of similar deal. It was still the other Jackson White. He was starting for first three games, but kind of the tables turned, I guess, a little bit, and he wasn't doing as well. And then I came in for the rest of the season, finished that season, started. That was pretty awesome to be able to get a lot more minutes under my belt at that point. That really helped. But then now this past year, having that new coaching change was kind of scary. But I mean, because I had no idea what was going to happen. It was definitely very, very interesting. But now looking back, like it was needed, and it was very, very much a good thing. But yeah, it was kind of that spring camp there that where with the new coaches, and they sat the QBs down and said, whoever wins the spring camp will win the spot. And yeah, then I ended up winning it, and yeah, and then ended up having a pretty good season. So
That's definitely the thing with football is like everything's so one play based. Like it's a single play, or even like you could put it in a seconds, can change everything from how the game goes to your spot on the field, right? Like that's one of the unique parts about football as well, which is good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and like piggyback off that, like just kind of what you're saying, the new coach came in, like you definitely have to have a certain kind of bond, with your coaches, the staff, players, and stuff like that. Like, what were some strategies that you had to like cope like under pressure, especially like in your starting years? Like, what were some mental things or things that you find helped your way to be a better athlete?
That's a good question. It was definitely tough because I was having to try and figure out how to lock in. I felt and the mental aspect for me was kind of the biggest part of my game that I felt like I needed to really lock in order to try and be successful. So for me, it was kind of just really trying to, be as focused as I possibly could, and, to try and, still keep like emotionally kind of like calm, and but have kind of a almost like a focused aggression, I guess, and yeah, and just really try and be my best and put everything into every single play, and not really worrying about the previous plays or the next play, just what's happening right then. Is huge. And just being able to kind of not worry about adversity and kind of fight through that were some big things that I think my first and second year, being in a competition really, helped me learn. And also a big one too was just not really, just worrying about your own job and your own, being better than yourself, being better like than I was yesterday at practice every day was kind of a big thing for me as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It definitely.
I was just gonna get in. I was a completely different topic, but if we're obviously the mindset's important, but I was just ready to jump into the Yates Cup. So if we got anything else say about mindset, otherwise just bring us into, I guess, your mindset for the Yates Cup and your experience in total playoffs and Yates Cup.
Yeah. So for playoffs, I mean, I try and treat it as just another game, but those nerves definitely do pick up quite a bit for those playoff games and stuff. So it is still, you try and do kind of the same routine, try and get yourself into the same headspace, but it is. And that's kind of what I would say to that, is just try and treat it as just another game as much as you can, because I mean, each game is just another competition, and it's I don't know. I'd just say try and treat it the same as any other game, really.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair enough, because I know, especially with me, like in my past sports, like it's almost even like you could relate it as a golf shot. If you have one bad shot, you can't be like all mad and then you just play the worst all game. Like you just have to be one play after another, and then just keep calm. And yeah, for sure, that's a pretty humble thing to say. So
exactly, yeah.
We had a conversation with Cumber too, and he said it was such a wild game. Like the whole atmosphere was crazy, and then when you guys ended up winning, it was just a whole celebration. It was a really cool time.
Yeah, definitely. It was it was a pretty I honestly had like no idea what was going on after that game. It was pretty fun environment. But no, it was pretty sweet.
And there's that really cool picture of you holding the cup up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you say that's your, like, on all your football accomplishments, that's your biggest one?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say that that is. I mean, hopefully, it's definitely not where I want to end. Hopefully we can, make another run at a Yates, and possibly, and hopefully more than that, hopefully next year, but that was definitely a pretty high highlight.
Yeah.
Now, kind of wrapping it up, but what I know we talked about it a little bit already, but the future looks pretty uncertain. I think that's a good way to put it. But do you have any goals in mind of trying to make CFL or go farther than football right now?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the future definitely does look uncertain. But yeah, I mean, I think my philosophy at this point is just keep grinding and keep working hard for next football season here at Mac, and then, try and play the best football I can, because I want to win games here. And then if that can give me the opportunity to play in next level, then I will 100% try and seize that opportunity. But, that's what I kind of want to focus on now, is just playing my best football I can here at Mac and finishing my career here strong. So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
Awesome, then. Thank you so much. And hopefully it's a bit tough mentally, I'm sure, but hopefully you get through this year, graduate, and hopefully, or not graduate, but hopefully we can see you win later.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.